Alright, we're going to be reviewing the second to last film on my Star Wars review marathon, and that's Empire Strikes Back. It goes without saying, this is like one of my favorite Star Wars films. I have a debate in my head, like which one I like the most. I've decided that like 3, 5, and 6 are my favorite for different reasons. But this one is like probably the best, like overall, like especially when you take into account like objective quality. This movie is directed really well and is a huge step up in budget from A New Hope. It also, like, the acting is better than A New Hope, and probably better than the sixth film as well. Also, it's just like a really action packed and emotionally satisfactory film, and also it's just like way more interesting than A New Hope, which I talked about in my New Hope review. Like, my problem with that film is like after really the part where they get to the Death Star, it's just like the film is a lot, or just not that interesting in general. Um, it's directed by Irvin Kershner, who did a very good job with this film. He made another film that I think I've seen. Right. Oh yeah, he did this movie. This is supposed to be really bad. No, he did like some other movie. Oh, he did this movie. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. Um, Interesting. Okay, so he's kind of like a one-hit wonder then. But yeah, a big hit for sure, Irving Kershner in Empire Strikes Back. But let's get into that right away. We'll get into plot synopsis. So basically, we start here, and like the rebels are on the run. They're on a small or a snowy planet named Hoth, and basically Luke is captured by a Wampa, and at this point, like a few things are introduced. We're introduced to Han and Leia's relationship, where they've developed a small romance, and Han is like wanting to leave because he owes money to Jabba the Hutt, and like Leia can't admit that she likes him. And she's just like, "We need you to stay because you're a good pilot," but he knows that's not true. And absolutely fantastic dialogue, and like I said in my New Hope review, this is my favorite romance of all time. I really, really love to see them do their flirting. I think it's very charming and it's very sweet. Um, but like at this time, Han discovers that Luke has not returned from patrol, and with the temperature dropping rapidly, he delays his departure and leaves base to search for him on an ostrich-like creature called the Tauntaun. How's it like an ostrich? Okay, whatevs. Uh, Before Luke succumbs to hypothermia, the Force spirit of his deceased mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, instructs him to go to the swamp planet Dagobah to train as a Jedi Knight under Master Yoda. Han Solo then discovers Luke and insulates him inside the deceased Tauntaun. So he cuts him open and he says, like, "This will keep you warm." And he stuffs Luke in there and he's like, "And I thought they smelled bad on the outside." Um, and yeah, so they're found, and they also find like a probe droid, and they destroy it. And then this is when we're introduced to the Imperial fleet in a really epic scene with the Imperial march over, where Vader is shown the lead, and all the Imperial admirals are like, it's just like could be anybody on this planet, could be smugglers, but Vader and his wisdom in the Force, which is derided by the other admirals, knows that that's the base, and he's like, "That's them, Admiral," and they make course for Hoth. Um, Basically, Admiral Ozzel like came out of hyperspace too quickly or something, or too close to the planet, and he basically kills Ozzel and elevates Piet to Admiral, which shows like the Imperial leadership style. They just like kill people that don't do well. Um, and then you begin the attack on Hoth, which is a really, really awesome scene and a fantastic start to this movie. Um, I've done some individual. I mean, let me actually check for a minute here. I think I've done an individual review of the upcoming part in Empire Strikes Back. Bro, what the hell? I swear it doesn't look like this normally. Where are my playlists? Where are my playlists? Oh, here they are. So, I recommend watching my YouTube channel through the playlist.
Star Wars, what?
Interesting. Okay, I did a thing on Empire here, but I thought I did a episode or I thought I did a review of the asteroid chase. Maybe that was just an idea. But anyway, the upcoming scenes like the escape from Hoth and all that are one of my favorite scenes in the whole series. I love the asteroid chase. I love everything about it. I love the music too, which is awesome. And so we get that scene that goes on for a while. I don't need to go through that, but it's very good. But in the meantime, during the asteroid chase, the Emperor contacts Vader, and Vader's like, he's like, move the ship out of the asteroid field, so I can contact the Emperor. And he contacts the Emperor, and this is where the Emperor reveals to Vader that he believes Luke Skywalker is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker, which sets up this whole arc slash reveal of who Anakin Skywalker is and who Luke's father is, which is like an interesting thing to think about, because I think the I Am Your Father is simultaneously the greatest cinema twist and the worst. And my reason for saying that is because it's the best because I think it's like one of the greatest reveals ever, but I think it's like the worst because literally everybody knows it. I don't know how many people don't know about Luke being Vader's father. I mean, Vader being Luke's father. So that's like kind of a downside, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, this scene where Vader talks to the Emperor and like the Emperor knows about Luke being his son is kind of like an early indication that of the Emperor's power and his wisdom and his like clairvoyance, which is good. And there's also a good scene that is pretty implicit in this film but is made explicit in the next film. We have Darth Vader starting to show signs that he's not pure evil by suggesting that Luke could be turned rather than killed. You know, because he obviously doesn't want to kill his son, and that's a weakness for the Sith. And so basically we also have this like the space worm scene, which is also very good and pretty unexpected. We get the bounty hunter scene, we get the trash dumping scene, we get all these really cool scenes. Oh yeah, one of my favorite visuals in this movie is where the Star Destroyers triangulate, but that's kind of earlier in this asteroid chase scene. But it's like really awesome visuals. And at this time, you get like Luke's experience on Dagobah, and you get Han and Leia and Chewbacca, C-3PO, landing on Bespin, which is a very good addition to the series. It's a really cool. It's not really a planet. I mean, it is a planet, but it's like a cloud city. And yeah, we meet Lando, who is a really great character. I really like the actor, and I really like his redemption arc that takes place between this film and the next film, where he saves Han and also blows up the Death Star too. So, but in this film, we start with him like as sort of this very charismatic guy, a lot like Han, that betrays them and sells them to the Empire, sort of under pressure. So it's not like he's a bad guy. He just kind of, he's like can't really do much, but then he changes his mind and tries to save them. But in the meantime, you have Luke on Dagobah with Yoda, who's like the ultimate teacher. And yeah, he trains a bit. He goes into the cave. He sees Darth Vader in the cave, but then he strikes his face, and it's his face underneath the mask, which is foreshadowing about him being his father, but also the darkness that could be inside Luke if he, chooses to act on emotion when he faces Vader. And around this time, he gets a vision of Luke and Leia and Han dying or getting hurt or whatever, and he wants to go save them, but Yoda and Obi-Wan are like, "You're not ready. You if you act on emotion and you're not emotionally clear, you could be turned to the dark side." But Luke is like, "No, I gotta go, and I promise I'll come back and finish my training." So an inexperienced Luke goes to save his friends on Bespin, where he goes into a trap, and some amazing lines. I should say there was an amazing line before this, one of my favorites. It's Darth Vader at the dinner table, and he says, "We would be honored if you would join us." And then Luke arrives. He goes into the carbon freezing room. Oh crap! I missed a huge part. Han gets carbon freezed, and another amazing line. This could be like probably a top 5 line in Star Wars for me. It's, "I love you. I know." It's such a good line, and I hear it was improvised too. But it perfectly summarizes Han's character and his appeal. He's like, quick on his feet. He's, sarcastic. He's funny. And he's like a scoundrel. And it's also just like a great end to their romance in this film. But then Luke arrives, of course, and Vader says, "The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet." Another one of my favorite lines. And the lightsaber duel is actually quite great in this one. Like, most of it is great. It's so much better than the one in A New Hope for a bunch of reasons. The choreography is better, and I just like the environment way better. It's like in this like dark room with these like kind of orangish red colors. There's like smoke and stuff. It looks really cool. So let's scroll down a bit. Yeah, and so they engage in a lightsaber fight, and the fight basically ends with Luke's hand being cut off, like father, like son, and Vader, another hint that he's not pure evil, and he's also not purely devoted to the Emperor. He says, like, basically, "The Emperor has foreseen you could overthrow him. Join me, and together we will rule the galaxy as father and son." I'm like, that's a great offer. That's a good offer, Dad. But of course, Luke cannot join him. So he goes. Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot to say that I completely skipped over the "No, I am your father." And yes, a great reveal despite the fact it's everybody knows it. But I would like to show this to, like, perhaps one day I shall have a son, and I wonder. I mean, I hope he likes it, because if he doesn't, we're gonna have a big problem. That's all I'll say. But it would be nice to see someone that, like, doesn't have this spoiled, see how they react. And yeah, so Luke falls down and goes through the tunnel or whatever, and at this point, um, he's like calling out for Ben, but Ben is not answering, so he calls out for Leia, which is a hint that Leia's force sensitive, and of course, hinting that they're related. Leia hears him, they go back, capture, not capture, but gets him back. They escape. Luke gets his hand back, and Luke gets a artificial hand, and Luke and Leia look out in space, sort of a cliffhanger, not knowing what will be the fate of Han Solo, and also not knowing for sure, like, was Vader telling the truth that he is his father? You're not fully sure yet, but it's probably true. But there's a lot of things that are kind of left somewhat ambiguous in this movie that you gotta wait for the next one, and it's a great end. And yeah, there's so many reasons why this film is loved, and I will be putting in the end title this video I made right here. It's only 3 minutes. I made it about Empire Strikes Back, why it's loved, and I remember this being a pretty good video, I think. And yeah, I hope you like that. But that's been my review of Empire Strikes Back. And I guess to summarize, Empire's strengths is it's like the best directed Star Wars film, probably. It's just higher budget than A New Hope. It has like really good dialogue writing. It has a fantastic romance. It has Luke training, getting sort of more mature, less whiny than the previous film. It has like the most iconic twist of all time. It has some amazing action scenes, like the asteroid chase, or even the lightsaber duel with Luke and Vader on Bespin. And all around, just an absolutely fantastic film that, if we go to my top 50 here, it holds a place and will always hold a place, probably in my top. It's just in my top 15. But like, you could say top 10, top 11. Very good. 9.8 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic film. And yeah, that's been my review. Saucy Boy out.